car, he tries to run, but he don't get far. In the ghetto, and his mama cried. Mama cries, yeah. Ooh, oh. Crowd gathers round an angry young man face down on the street with a gun in his hand in the ghetto. As her young man died on a cold and gray Chicago morn, another little baby child is born in the ghetto. In the ghetto. Oh, in the ghetto. Yeah, yeah, baby. That's how it is.
You have to lead a person like the all of country. Yeah, of course. Computerized or not. Alright, okay. Not computerized. Yes, not computerized, not computerized. Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all of Century, East, West, North, South, Central, or Friends of Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed, of course, I am on George Street, yes, but I just came from Monsieur in Mova, where, of course, the honorable leader of the opposition and leader of the UNC, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, whose party, of course, has just announced that they will be having, of course, internal elections for the executive positions in the party on the 15th of June. On the 15th of June, yes, that announcement was made. So therefore, what has happened by that in one fell sweep, she has been able to neutralize, of course, those elements who are saying or suggesting that she was undemocratic, or that the very democratic traditions of the party, the UNC, that is founded by Bazio Pandey, and every successive and expected, of course, a leader and leadership would have always continued the tradition of making sure that elections are held on time. Well, of course, in this case, there's no exception. Of course, one has to now question the agenda of those who were calling for elections before it was due, or more, I think more disturbingly, they would have, of course, preempted the authority of the executive to, of course, within the context of the Constitution, to call those elections. And now it is difficult for them to take egg off their faces, whether it be Rodney Charles, because, of course, Kamala Persad-Bissessar jokingly tonight. I'm sorry that I can't get them on now, but, of course, we will get an excerpt tomorrow. But, of course, she did say jokingly that, of course, there are some who are leaving and want her to leave too. She says, no, she is not yet ready to leave. And, of course, clearly, she was referring to Rodney Charles, who is saying that, of course, this is his last stint at the political wheel, so to speak, or in substantive politics. But, of course, what she, in effect, was saying is that misery likes company. And, of course, we suspected that they would have gotten their marching orders a long time ago, those so-called Dissident Five, and therefore attempting, of course, to collectively to influence and orchestrate and construct their willingness to stay in office or to stay relevant in the politics of the country. Well, they have, of course, achieved their political demise, and, of course, at the end of the day, they have, of course, played themselves out of the running, so to speak. No one will trust them. I know that the party rank and file would have, of course, coalesced, one, and two, would have expressed their anger, three, and, of course, would also despise them for the manner in which they conducted their affairs, or their attempt, of course, to generate an elusive and amorphous phantom election that was never due, that is to be futuristic. And then, of course, the authorities that are within the party who has been voted into office to make that decision, now make the decision, and that is, of course, June 15th, the party will have its election. How they're feeling, I don't know, but if it was me, I would have been feeling a bit sour. And of course, if they were genuine in terms of whether or not the party would have called election, having regard to the party calling for national elections and focusing on national elections as far as candidates are concerned, and the nomination papers, etc. And of course, they are yet to screen. But then anybody with a modicum of common sense will know that Rowley and they are under so much pressure, and they have more pressure to get, that you must be prepared as a major contender to, of course, replace them as government in this country. And therefore, it was sagacious, it was prudent, it was right, it was correct that Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her executive certainly prepared themselves for a wily group of individuals who knows no principle, no limits to, of course, their quest for power, and therefore you don't want to be caught with your pants down, so to speak, or exposing your petticoat, so to speak, as we have been seeing with this particular administration. So let's get on to business, people. Yes, indeed, of course, I thought it was important to start with this theme because it was a total and absolute recognition of not only the ghetto and the working class, but of course, Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC in Morvan, and therefore Morvan Laverton. I called, of course, that part of the East-West corridor where they, of course, have brought the anti-crime program. And as I don't have a picture of it, I don't have even a video of it, but I'm sure we're going to get it because I presented her with a flash drive of over 1,000 pages of issues relating, of course, to addressing and treating with crime. Of course, my position has always been that you solve the Laverton question, you solve the Laverton and environs question, then you solve crime in Trinidad and Tobago. It's simple as that. But what we see with respect to Rowley and they, that is to say they are prepared to exacerbate the situation. They want, of course, the situation to get worse by their poor policy choices and by their conduct that will proliferate and, of course, render into every nook and cranny in Trinidad and Tobago crime and criminality. If, of course, people like us do not arrest that situation, that clearly inability of the PNM to see around the corner. In other words, lack of vision. That being as it may, let's go back, of course, to that introductory salvo.
Ooh, yeah, hey, on a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born in the ghetto. If there's one thing that she don't need, it's another hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto. And the world turns, and a hungry little boy with a runny nose plays in the street as the cold wind blows in the ghetto. People, don't you understand? The child needs a helping hand, or he'll grow to be an angry young man someday. Take a look at you and me. Are we too blind to see? Do we simply turn our heads and look the other way? Well, the world turns. A hungry little boy with a runny nose plays in the street as the cold wind blows in the ghetto. And his hunger burns. starts to roam the streets at night. He learns how to steal and he learns how to fight in the ghetto. Then one night in desperation, the young man breaks away, buys a gun, he steals a car, he tries to run, but he don't get far in the ghetto. In the ghetto. And his mother cried. Mama cries. Yeah. Ooh, oh. Crowd gathers round an angry young man face down on the street with a gun in his hand in the ghetto. As her young man died on a cold and gray Chicago morn, another little baby child is born in the ghetto. In the ghetto. Oh, in the ghetto. Yeah, yeah, baby. That's how it is. That's how it is in the ghetto. Yeah. Ooh, 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 ghetto. In the ghetto. In the ghetto.
Yes indeed, yes indeed. The ghetto boy. And we are saying on the corridor transformation that transformation is nigh. Transformation is possible. Attitudinal change is within reach. What you need to do is to generate the conditions salubrious and accommodating, and of course the response will be one of positivity. You see, I am talking this way with authority tonight because only today, having of course engaged by way of documentary communication with of course the engineering corps of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. Well, I got a call today from of course officials of the Trinidad and Tobago Engineering Division of the Trinidad and Tobago Army or Defense Force, and they will be of course paying a visit to evaluate the building that we now occupy, having of course purchased it, own it, but we don't have the resources of course to put the accommodation, whether it's for computers, whether it is for counseling, whether it is in respect of course conflict resolution, whether it's to do after school homework, accommodation, or indeed to provide these young men with an opportunity to do business, which of course we have already signed that lease for 5 years. And when I got that call today from the Army, it was of course music to my ears. And I want to say that of course when they come and they see the building as it is, we expect that not just expeditious, but of course work of a quality that will assist us in providing the accommodation that is required for transformation, human transformation, of course on a sustained basis. And thus of course our empowerment resource center will be on its way to doing the job that we envisage. Of course, you must have vision, you must have leadership. And one of the issues that I mentioned when I got the opportunity to speak at that anti-crime symposium that was of course led by the UNC and in the presence of the political leader and of course opposition leader. I'm talking about Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and having presented her with a flash drive with over 1,000 pages of documentation with respect, of course, to how we can be effective in treating with, of course, the crime and criminality and the gravitation of young people to the life of crime, and how we are able to, of course, address people's tendency and preference to have hope, to look at a Trinidad and Tobago and a community where the quality of life and standard of living can be much better. In other words, we must do better, we can do better, and we have a duty to do better. And so in such circumstance, that particular flash drive that I gave her encompasses all of the plans, the programs, and of course the evaluations, the assessments, and the data that are relevant to the Laventille question. Because as I say, once you solve the Laventille question, you solve the Trinidad and Tobago's crime problem. Even in Tobago, yes, Tobago may appear to be distant. No, there are fellas who would have left Trinidad and go there to live and carry, of course, their, what I would prefer to call their bad habits, their subterranean cultural disposition there. There are those, of course, who we may not be able to transform or correct simply because they would have choose that because they believe that that is the easy way to, of course, live. But at the end of the day, police will be on their doorsteps, prison will be a begging and calling, and of course they will have a terrible record and therefore a terrible time moving forward. And what we have to do as a concerned group of individuals, tell them no, there are alternatives and there are positive alternatives. And while, of course, you have to earn, and you have to, of course, to work in order to earn, rest assured that life can be better, and the quality of life that you wish for or you believe that you are entitled to can be achieved with, of course, a dint of work and, of course, a smart and appropriate way of course, making it happen for you, your family, immediate, your community, and by extension, your country. You see, it was important for me to be there tonight because I cannot countenance, I cannot resist the temptation of castigating this government for its myopic and what I consider to be brutal and obnoxious decision to put desperados on Nelson Street. Nelson Street, people, desperados, Nelson Street, arguably the best steel band in the world. And if Trinidad and Tobago says that our culture is steel band and calypso, one, and if it is that steel band is supposed to be part and parcel of the diversification of the economy by encouraging, of course, tourists, and that if you recognize that Laventille has given the people of Trinidad and Tobago its national culture, steel band and calypso, why the hell you took a decision to, of course, put desperados on Nelson Street, and why you took the decision to, of course, evict those residents that have long ties and generational connection to Port of Spain, why it is that you move them off of Duncan Street, and to make the situation permanent, you destroy the blasted buildings and them, and now you're saying like a knee-jerk response, you're going to put, of course, the headquarters of the HDC there. That is wicked, that is dangerous, that is myopic, that is dotish, that is silly, that is asinine, and that, of course, clearly demonstrates a group of individuals that are out of their minds, and that they are intellectually bankrupt, and that they are cognitively and cerebrally in decline. Maybe they had too much old people purporting to be young people, or vice versa, young people purporting or looking like old people, because I don't understand that kind of obsolete, that kind of anti-developmental stance that this government would take in spite of our dwindling resources, in spite of the fact that we as a nation is the third richest in the hemisphere. They could say what they want, the third richest per capita income vacillating, which of course is the envy of all of our Caribbean neighbors, but yet still they say that like the prodigal son, Rowley and they are like the prodigal son. They eat, they spend, and then we may well end up in the garbage bin to survive. But I want to say to Rowley and them, they alone must go to the garbage bin, including, of course, blue lights and silver bracelets and the prisons of this country. That being as it may, let me say once again to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, a pleasant good night to all. Let me see. Boy, like, I left my phone somewhere, boy. Where's my phone? All right, my phone is in another place. Caller, you may have to call back. I may have to, of course, put on something. Let me just put on this and get that phone.
Ooh, yeah, hey, on a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born in the ghetto.
Hi.
There's one thing that she don't need. It's another hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto.
Hold on. Sorry about that caller.
Program from last night.
No, you're not supposed to. I have seen it on YouTube and I'm seeing it on Facebook right now. The current one.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get on to the program to the one show tonight, but
where are you using, YouTube or Facebook? YouTube. All right, just type in corridor transformation on that one. It's on Facebook. You have to use love until on YouTube.
Okay, right.
On YouTube, that's for everybody else. On YouTube, you type in corridor transformation and it will take you to the program. I'm seeing it right now. I'm looking at it on the monitoring screen.
Yeah, but I'm getting the one from last night.
All right, click on the or tap on the symbol on the corridor symbol, and you should get the current one, because next to it will have live. It have a note saying live.
Yeah, okay, all right.
All right, okay then. Thanks very much for your call. Yes. Yes, people, of course. Sorry about that. So you can call now, of course, 337-6940. 337-6940. As I said, a joyous day. The Lord move in mysterious ways. His wonders to perform. As I said, the army called today, and they are coming on Wednesday to do an evaluation of the building, and to, of course, begin. I assume in short order the renovation that is required, so that we can upgrade the facility in such a way so that we can continue, of course, to work. There are others, of course, we want to thank those who are putting in their little kakada in order, of course, to make certain that we get to a standard that is required in terms of program implementation, both, of course, here in Trinidad and in the region, and, of course, in the United States and elsewhere in particularly the northern, should I say, countries of the world, like Canada, United States, and then, of course, you have Europe, European countries such as the United Kingdom, Germany, etc. And, of course, we are extremely optimistic. We are extremely elated as things start to move. At one time, I was a bit skeptical, let me put it that way. Not depressed, but skeptical that, of course, things wouldn't move in the pace that we would have liked. But as soon as people get to find out and they commit themselves, everything else, of course, falls into place. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hey, Lennox Smith, pleasant good night to you and everybody on the live. Pleasant good night.
Yes, good night to you.
Well, Lennox,
Yes.
this super creating a lot of distraction all over the place in the here, there, and everywhere. I now seen on Facebook, like somebody breaking the Prime Minister's residence.
Yeah. They were saying that, yes. Distraction, very good. When you're a very perceptive person, everybody must know it's distraction.
But what shall if these fellas in them so want to create delusion? Why they ain't go for American Got Talent and done or Britain Got Talent? If it's delusion them practicing right through to deceive people, then should go for American Got Talent or Britain Got Talent.
Looking for elusive sympathy. That sympathy is elusive in itself. And so they could jump high, they could jump low. Notice the Minister of Finance, he said that somebody interfered or vandalized the water system in the ministry. And guess when that was? 12 days ago. But you now bring that and have the time to bring that and put that on YouTube or on social media. These people and them, they are desperate and they will go mad as, of course, they experience the hottest ever political period in 2024 leading into 2025. Kamala Prasad Bisesa right now is in Laventille, Mova to be more specific, Missouri Community Center.
In Mova, in Mova. But I ain't seen no video of that meeting at all. I only seen pictures.
Oh, you only seen pictures? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have not monitored it, but I saw quite a lot of media representation there. And I would have expected that it would be on television. But they may, of course, do it and then upload it afterwards to the various platforms. But I thought they would have had a live component.
Because I even see on one of the photographs that Twiggy was talking to her.
Right, beautiful. Yes, Twiggy was there. She called Twiggy. She recognized Twiggy's big mouth, and she did. Of course. And I want to say too, when I was leaving, Twiggy was sitting next to my vehicle, and she said in no uncertain terms, and she told me to say it so I could say it. The PNM gone through. I repeated what Twiggy said. What Twiggy said. The PNM gone through, and of course that is something not new to us or is news, because we said that from day one that Rowley is despicable, he is evil, he is a miscreant, he is a profligate, and he of course is a rapist and a pedophile. But go ahead, my friend.
Right, so before I go, you see that program there, what has been Ivor George Station, they went heavy and TC?
Yes.
Lennox, that radio program right now showing you the true blood of the PNM supporters. Right now, all of them just ready to dare right now because the amount of nonsense these people and them just be talking on that program, they will carry front.
Yeah, when I was leaving, I saw TC there. I saw him there, but I had to leave. I had to leave to come here.
I want to repeat what you be saying. They're going through, and eventually they're going to end up in the history. In fact, I don't even want them end up in the history box. Let us just go in the ground and just stay there, locked on and listening.
Yeah, but before that, they have to get the blue lights and of course silver bracelets. They cannot believe, and of course, if only really to demonstrate to any future leader in any political organization that seeks the mandate of the people to serve and to do so equitably and reasonably and fairly, and they do what Rowley and they are doing, that is to say, they see the state coffers as their own private parlor and raid it and rape it the way that they are doing it, then of course we have a duty to make all of them go behind bars. Once of course the evidence is there. Let's go straight to the lines. A pleasant good night, welcome.
Good night, Lennox. How are you going, boy?
Well, of course, I just came from the outing of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, that crime symposium or beating. I thought it was splendid. I had the pleasure of speaking second after, of course, the chairman of the village council that hosted it through the village council, and of course the building that has housed that particular exercise. It was great. And it continues to be, I suspect. But let me go. Let me go to another call. Just a minute. Let me just tell Miss Santa Cruz to hold on. Miss Santa Cruz, if you can hold on a little, I have another person on the line. Go ahead, caller, on my handset.
Well, Lennox.
Yes.
They're talking about crime.
Yeah.
Well, your worst nightmare just come true. They were talking about crime because they put Albatross over here with Christopher. They give she and next year extension again.
After all that shenanigans and after all of that circumlocution, and they believe they're giving the country tension. Well, now with the announcement, they give the country more tension because I can't see how she could make it. And she herself said that she didn't want another term because of the non-cooperation. She said that she didn't get. I don't know what more she wants. I don't know if she got assurance that she will get a cooperation now. Or was she, of course, played there to catch Kobo alive, or she would have accepted that she didn't perform well and therefore had to make her exit. But somehow the PNM, like every other thing that have collapsed under them under their administration or having administered it, well, of course, this is another exercise in that. But go ahead, my friend.
PNM likes gathering the love failure, so they must
the love failure.
I will tell you and all the other listeners on Friday, do what Oda used to say, pray. Because under she tenureship, they would have received more warriors than nobody last couple of years she was there. Right? And it just goes to show that they don't care two hoots about nobody.
No, they care about their own political survivability. That's what this is all about. They know that is blue lights and silver bracelets is a begging. It is inevitable. And what they're doing is just attempting to avoid that.
This little monopoly man, because he was a little man from the monopoly.
All right, okay. All right.
Keep bringing up story according to you from last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And bringing up those kind of story and making it like it is something that's happened. Those things will sit in the month. You understand? And he can't bring that with any kind of legality and make it look like somebody trying to sabotage she.
Yeah. That is the propaganda that they would spread. That is the pernicious and ability to think evil and to produce evil. All right, let me go to the line. All right, you call back. Okay. All right. Good night, Miss Arima. Your line is noisy, boy. Good night, Miss Santa Cruz. Miss Santa Cruz, good night.
I want to know how you can make that mistake, Lennox. How can you make that mistake? Lennox.
The noise in the background.
I know it's the weather. I know it's the weather, and I forgive you.
The noise. I don't associate you with background noise.
Lennox.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. I have a lot of little points here tonight.
Yeah, go ahead.
But the biggest question I want to ask you here tonight, you all don't read the charts.
No, I don't.
You don't have somebody monitoring the charts.
Well, I thought you was doing that.
Lennox, I am, but I am complaining to you all, and you all not doing anything about this nasty, disgusting canal conks they call Abdul Malik.
All right, okay. We'll take a look.
Lennox, the man is so nasty and disrespectful to the women on the chat. And you know what is getting me vexed with the women on the chat? He's disrespected all you, but all you wouldn't even make a call and say, well, look, Lennox, get this man off the chat. They put in it there, but all you're not reading it.
Oh, I see.
Lennox is the most disgusting thing.
Great.
We don't need that.
Yeah. I want to tell you the longest rope has an end. And
his end should come tonight, Lennox.
Yes.
And you know we know he's going to resurface. When he was Justin, I don't know how many names he had before. He comes now as Abdul Malik and it's just a stink. And it's the kind of things that he's telling the ladies on the chat. Like this man don't have a mother, like Rowley.
Desperate people do desperate things. And sometimes it is inexplicable. But of course, you know.
No, Lennox is about
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's about time that he's removed from the chat. And I'm speaking on behalf of all the people tonight who complaining about him on the chat.
Well,
And
I
who
will
want to get vexed because I complaining. Go to hell. Hall.
Yeah, but I will do that. But as you rightly say, they can resurface in another form. You know, they like.
Yeah, well,
like
when they resurface in another form, Lennox, when he resurfaces in another form, we'll deal with him in that form.
All right, okay. All right. I hear you.
But right now he's Abdul Malik, and it's the stinkest thing on your chat.
All right, good. What I will do, I will talk to you privately, and we will give you access so you can monitor that, and we could communicate and then make a decision as to those kinds of trolls, those kinds of trolls that nuisance value, frankly.
And you know, Lennox, he's not going to come here and say what PNM did for the last 9 years. He's not going to come here and say the money that was sent with Imbut. He's not going to come and say the babies that died. No. All he is studying is the women body parts.
Right,
and what they need in the body parts. Let me put it that way for you, so you'll have an idea what this man is doing.
Yeah. He reminds me. It reminds me of the AV drilling owner. I saw a video that I was totally disgusted. In fact, I refused to even put it on, far less to.
And you know, Lennox, and not only the women on the chat, you passing in the brew as well. And as I say, when they touch me people, they touch everybody.
That's right. So we'll work out an
It is total disrespect.
Do the monitoring, and we will give you the authority to, of course, pull down.
I wish I had the authority to remove them.
All right, good. I do that.
I will gladly do so. Lennox,
I do that.
let me tell you something now.
I'm going to talk to Anne-Marie, and we will work out that arrangement. All right.
Because I was just going to put up asking if Anne-Marie's not seen it either.
Yes.
Somebody must be seeing the nastiness going on there.
Yes. So I will do that because I had to focus on content. Not only for this program, but
and now when we have now to fight him off, we are just diverted from what you are talking about.
That's right. Exactly.
It is distracting.
Yeah, so we need to be
and we cannot be distracted with what it is going on now.
Yeah. We need to be,
because we have enough distraction. Because you see, Lennox, Erla has been doing such a good job with her pros, right? That they renewed her contract.
Well,
she has been doing such a fantastic job.
I thought you would have added that they open more pharmacies so that as soon as a fella let go a bullet at you, you could get more convenient pharmacy to get some kind of medication to prevent that bullet from penetrating your torso.
No, boy. If she wasn't praying, it would have been more.
Yeah, that's it.
It will be more, you understand?
Yes,
but Lennox, as a couple of your callers rightly said before, what they're trying to distract us with now, right? Look at how much security at the Prime Minister residence and somebody broke in.
Yeah.
I bet this Kamala do that. Kamala sent somebody to do that.
I waited impatiently on Rowley's response to the Auditor General, the incident that Imbut said about his water supply at the ministry, and now of course the breaking in at the Prime Minister's office. I waited because
let us see how much distraction.
Yeah, this man went into Bago in the market. In that market, of course, in the 2015 election, and say somebody want to kill him, that is a figment of his very fertile imagination.
And when they asked the then Commissioner of Police, he said he don't know anything about that.
So we know how desperate they are. We know what to expect.
Yeah,
and that is what makes it very, 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 should I say, make one optimistic.
Interesting.
Not just but optimistic that they will get the hell out, because everybody knows what tricks and tricksterism and shenanigans and chicanery
Lennox,
that they are again.
they have one trick more than a monkey.
Boy,
They have one trick more than a monkey.
but we have found them out. We have found them out. And
Yeah, we know,
they have
because
come to the
I
end
mean,
of their
you
day.
make up a whole email. You make up a whole email that Kamala and them wanted to kill a journalist. Kamala and them, they fire what? Somebody was shooting up the DPP office, right? And they were going to offer the DPP a job to drop cases. Here the man, this man,
imagination
better than Aesop fables.
Yeah, for evil. Always for evil.
Yeah.
Always for evil. Sinister.
Yes, but here, we waited patiently. I want to know what he's still doing outside the country. I think he waited for Ember to clean up his mess before he come back here to start to cuss up everybody. You hear? Lennox, no, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
I am no terrorist. I am no heroine.
Right.
I am no I ain't looking for no busted from no police or nothing. I ain't going to play big badge or nothing. No, I'm not that.
Yes.
If I could stand up and fight for what they did to the Auditor General,
yes.
If I could stand up and fight for Frank Sipasad, what they did to him, and I'll get back to him in a minute,
yes.
Right? Why shouldn't I? You tell me. Why shouldn't I stand up and fight to save Amar Station from what it is happening to Iowa Station? You tell me.
You have a right. If, as you rightly said, if your neighbor's house is burning, well, of course, you know, you have to.
That's right. You're out your own.
Yes, sir. And of course.
You understand?
If you have glass house, don't throw stone.
If I could stand up for the small man, why should I stand up for our voice on the Amar Station?
Yes, you're right.
Because we have seen, and you know, Lennox, is the hypocrisy in certain corners, right? Having a problem with me talking about what Tadapuna does. Because we have seen it, and we heard Mr. X, where he take one turn into the Puna tail for, because of him. Telecommunications Authority had to send several letters to Amar Station. Yeah. It wasn't because of anybody else, Lennox.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It was because of him.
Yeah, you're right.
So why should I stay and vex because I criticizing that? But I want to tell them, all who want to criticize me, right, for raising that issue and fighting to keep the station, for our station not to be on fire. All I will say to them tonight, and I will say it on the ground report tomorrow, is all, in all capital letters. In all capital letters. Now, Lennox, imagine the CEO of TSTT receiving a security to the value of $49,000 a month.
Yeah.
But they took away the security from Frank Sipasad, a High Court judge, and the man has to pay $25,000 a month in security because of certain individuals.
Yes.
Because of certain individuals. And I say then, and I'm going to say it again. And let the hypocrites and them step aside. You don't like what I say? Move to the side. Right? Because you can't be fighting for one and not fighting for the other. Because it all works hand in hand.
That's right.
You have people sitting down in your radio station bashing everything every day 24/7 is about race and race and race. It's Indian this and Indian that and Indian the other, right? And UNC just jump the wall, deal with them, break down the door. And now look at what happened. When that should have been nipped in the bud. That is the point, you know. That is the point that I am making, you know. If they had nipped that in the bud, that would never have happened. But it's ratings they're looking for, and I doubt we on the ground report looking for that kind of ratings.
Well, it's not just ratings, it's the belief that somehow they are untouchable. I think they went above and beyond their, what I consider to be their viability, and believe that it's them alone. You see the statements such as Camille Robinson Regis, who is Donald Trump, that kind of talk. That is how they feel. They feel that Trinidad belongs to them, and Trinidad is the only country in the world, and that the rest of the world and the region are not watching at Trinidad and Tobago. And that is the only reason why, frankly, the TAT responded, because they know that the Americans and all of those embassies and high commissioners and emissaries that represent democratic countries of the world that have a respect for journalists and journalism and so on, will frown upon it, frown upon that kind of allowability, let me put it that way, and the complacency of the authority not to at least render their concern. So that is why TAT did that. Otherwise, TAT would have been.
They would have ignored it because Lennox, they have been, because she and others, because there are others there that were doing it, could not have been allowed to get away with what they were doing if TAP didn't turn a blind eye at the beginning.
That's right. And
I think it's because it's a high court judge now that it happened to. Right, and they were standing too close to the fan.
The publicity with respect to, because
the publicity,
I have no doubt in my mind that TAT would have been okay with that kind of criticism, because it emanated from the judgment that he gave with respect to Kokro. So it means TAT as a political entity sympathetic to the PNM would have turned a blind eye to that, but they simply could not have. And why I say so is because every single nebulous so-called infringement was converted into a letter of warning to Amar and us directly and indirectly on the ground report. So that's why I could say that without fear of contradiction, that one rule for others and a different rule for the ground report and 104.7. They were like a tick, a menace in, of course, the ground report and 104.7. But they were, and when we complained and say that they were saying the same thing, they would send a very, what I consider to be, superficial letter, not as deep and as concerning as they would send to us. But now, faced with international exposure and embarrassment, they now, of course, had to pull up in such a way so as to suggest that they are affecting or want to take away the license.
Because Lennox, you remembered when there was also a certain incident along with them and along with Rhoda Barrett, when Frank Rampersad were winning, the UNC were winning cases, and they said that he was choosing the cases to throw out all Ann and Ram Logan cases. They cast aspersion on the man. The Ivor Archie, the registrar, they had to come out and say that is not how cases are chosen. It's when they come on a morning, it is computer generated. How they get the cases.
They explained the process,
how it was done. And since before then, Lennox, it has been going on, casting aspersion on this man.
Yes. And
you see, she got away. She got away with saying to jump the wall, run up to the door, kick it down, and deal with them.
Yes.
That is one of the things that got me mad with Gary Griffith. When he was asked why she was not charged, he said video evidence was inadmissible in court. So I want to ask a question now. All those CCT cameras, right, that they put it up here to catch crime, that's inadmissible in court too? But as you rightly said,
Go ahead.
You rightly said, the longest rope has an end.
Yes. And Gary Griffith, of course,
the longest one has an end,
was struggling a thin, should I say, pointed or apex rope. He was struggling because, I mean, when Rowley said what he had to say, Gary Griffith at one time was a very, what I consider to be, he was condescending, or put another way, he was amenable. He was he was accepting what we had to say simply because he wanted to keep the job of commissioner of police.
Of police, yeah.
So
That's right, Lennox.
So the
And
circumstances were
Lennox?
different, and once it turned different, of course he comes out now and he says what he has to say now. But before that,
but
it was about
something
the job.
should have been done. Something should have been done. And Lennox, let me tell you something. Santa Cruz will continue fighting for what is right in this country. Be it the Auditor General, be it Frank Rampasad, be it for a child, the Children's Authority, right? And be it for the ground report, right? I will stand up and fight. And who don't like it, I will just say, call. Take care, Lennox, and have a good night.
I'm yearning to hear your analysis of John Jeremy. Are you on it? I'm yearning for that, but you call back. I have another caller.
Yeah. All right, Lennox. All right, later.
Yes, indeed. That was, of course, our external correspondent, Mr. Santa Cruz, of course, with the usual effervescence, bubbling, and very, very poignant and pointed and concise. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night to welcome Mr. Tanguga. Yes, loud and clear, my friend.
Let me give it a start. A man 4 feet tall could never be a major. So if one threatening the Auditor General and all kind of nobody taking you on.
I like that one, but go ahead. Yes.
4 feet tall. 6 footers I told you and them.
Okay. So he's afraid then. He's afraid from a complex, an inferiority complex.
Yes, because
all of them.
If you walk in, you can walk in in the night time.
Because he's so low down.
Right on the ground. But let me come to the point.
Go ahead.
You see all this security thing and all of them all gone, and they want to give Sipasan and all of this thing? Michel, the former Prime Minister of Grenada, they're showing the crickets all about the place. He had no security with him. Because I watching the cricket and everybody is friend. I don't want to sound like a Rico in Yetimal. George Chambers never walk around with no security. You know why? Their fellas had clean. They had clean. They had God in them. This government want all this police protection and thing because they had full of sin, Lennox.
Yes. Iniquity is
when they have sin in them,
unlimited.
become God, you know. And you just walk around the place, big and brave, do every nobody. Because you did everything Almighty all the time.
That's right.
You don't walk and look over your shoulder to see if anybody coming to you.
That's right.
But them fellas have to walk around with 1,000 police if possible.
Yeah. Caller, hold on. I have someone else on next line. Just hold on.
Because
go ahead, Mr. Tanguga. Yes.
The arrogance alone in the parliament of we watching them like a movie.
Yes.
Every day that they talk, you could see it only. There are no God coming out of them when they're talking.
Yeah, boy.
Right? That's why they get how they get done. And this is what they want to take. But you see, I talk about carrying a letter. But Chipasan is not Chipasan without the guy as well.
No, not for. It's about him. Just as how, it's about him. So we send it. In fact, I text Andy this evening. The Law Association, the Chief Justice, the National Security Minister, and the Commissioner of Police. We don't want to go up by the Prime Minister's office. It's too far to walk.
The Chief Justice is the man on that board.
Yeah, that's what we said. We said 4 of them because the officers are close to each other. Yeah, so we did that already.
Everybody.
Yeah.
He can't have the executive interfering and see what Sipasan can't have protection. And she shall not be more long time. You agree?
Yeah. I agree. That is the approach we have to take as concerned citizens, and to make sure that there's some sanity in the affairs and the conduct of the affairs of the state by these clearly what I consider to be indolent and lazy and incompetent officials.
Whether it's a PNM and only spread or whatever.
Yeah.
The distinction between the executive and the judiciary, you have to tell that.
Yes. Yes, that's right. That's right. All right.
I am in charge of everybody here, lawyers, magistrates.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
You can't say for you that thing.
Wow. Tonight is very lively, boy. About 3 persons waiting. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. Caller who's waiting. Go ahead. Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Tagrigo. Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hello? Are you still there? All right. Let me just make sure that person is not there. All right. That person is gone. So that is a person on the normal system. So let me take this one. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Oh boy. Why this is happening? Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good I'm just trying to say.
Oh, you said what?
Birthday to my grandmother.
Okay.
And today is her birthday, so I just want to say happy birthday too.
All right. Okay. Wonderful, man. Wonderful. Yes. Wonderful. Anything else? All right. Okay then. All right. That seemed to be it. Okay. Let's go straight to the, oh boy. I have so many callers. I'm a bit confused now. All right. Let me just see how I can handle this thing. Let me see. I have a caller on the line. Let me see. All right. Wow. Oh boy. It's all right. Quite a lot of calls, but all right. All right. Let's go again. Let me see this one now. Who's this now? Right. Let me see this one now. Pleasant good night. Oh boy. Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night. All right. Let me, Miss Venezuela, Miss Arima. Miss Arima?
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Yes.
Good night. All right. I have somebody holding on the next line as well. So let me see how I could struggle this thing. Go ahead, caller. On the hand phone. I'm not good. Oh, go ahead, caller on the handset.
Pleasant good night to the listeners and pleasant good night to you, Mr.
Right, good, great. All right, let me just get Miss Arima and tell her to hold on. Miss Arima, just hold on, please. Miss Arima, just hold
Hello,
on.
good night.
Good night. Just hold on, please. Just hold on. All right, go ahead. Other caller.
Yeah, Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Mr. Lennox.
Yeah.
You see this extension for the commissioner?
Yeah.
The commissioner of tickets. That is a smoke screen, Mr. Lennox.
Right.
The burden issue we dealing with.
Hello, good night.
And we want to keep it burden. We want to win money. We want to know where we 3-point-something billion gone. We want with money. This camera thing in Singapore with people calling the police take down cameras and they can't find the lead.
I see.
60-something cameras still out.
Okay.
The cameras still out at large and they can't find it.
Yeah.
All that smoke screen. This government will do anything to pardon that 3-point-something billion.
All
we don't want to hear nothing about Ola Christopher. Ola Christopher is the commissioner of tickets. We know that already.
Yes.
What we want to know, we say it like the Prime Minister. We want money. We want back with 3 point something billion. We're not rushing. We will take day and turn it into night, night and turn it into day. We will commit down right to and match.
That's right. That's
accountability.
It's a long hot
our
2024.
We want money.
Yes.
And when they see we get there,
yes,
we have to lock them up.
All right. Okay. The tags. Tags. I'll go to the next line. All right. Okay. Yes, Mr. Rima, go ahead.
Yes, Lennox. Good night once again. I hear you calling my name. You know, you're making mistake or you just miss me. The little few days I ain't call, I know you're missing me, you know.
I miss you. I miss you, and I'm making mistake. I don't know why.
Yeah, you make mistake to call me Miss Venezuela.
Yes. So,
but then you're studying me so much that you're calling other people Miss Arima. Don't do them thing, you know. You'll get your head boss.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I just listen to you, so I am missing you that much. I just listening.
Okay, darling. Okay,
I just want to say a belated Mother's Day to Miss Anne-Marie, and I thank her for the little greeting that she sent. It was nice, you know, and I hope she enjoyed her day yesterday. Okay, so good night.
Good night to you as well, my dear. All right. Let's go to the handset. A pleasant good night. Yes. Yes, go ahead, caller.
I want to find that the building behind you, that's the building on George Street.
Yeah. I'm here right now. Yes, life. What? You see something High Life or something like that is in mark in front. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And how far the building is?
In terms of what? In terms of construction or which part it is located? No, we have now started. The inside we now putting air conditioned unit, but the army called me only today, and on Wednesday they will be visiting, and we're going to be doing the total renovation because it has to do a total overhaul. As you rightly know, it has been vandalized, all right? Yeah. Not time between any nonsense, boy. You want bacchanal and nonsense, yes? Pleasant good night. Welcome, Miss Madras. A pleasant good night. Hello. Good night.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hello, Lennox.
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead, man, talk. Yeah.
Yeah, but your voice is like very low, so I'll make my contribution. How's that?
How's that?
So I'll just make my contributions because I can hardly hear you on the
All right, okay, make your contribution because I'm hearing you loud.
The WhatsApp call, the WhatsApp line is very low audio.
Oh,
but I'll make my contribution and I'll make it quick.
All right, okay then.
Because I know you have plenty calls. But Lennox, I want to say that I respect you a lot.
Thank you.
I respect you and Mikey and Michael Kerr. And I say that because you are the only show, along with Heavy and those guys, who are not Dogla, but who have maybe an ancestor or somebody connected to the Indian people who came here as indentured laborers and who lived in poverty just like many other Trini Afros did after slavery ended, and lived in poverty even when the indentured arrived and they was trying along with them side by side. I think that is something that I respect you for, because you get airwage and you try to reach the Trini Afros. And look, there's another way we could build this country, because literally, look at what's happening around this country today.
Right.
Not to blame the absent Prime Minister, but I want to say fast that this country has no security. The only security is amalgamated security, which controls everything from money to prisoners. And the security that we have is just, they have inculcated into this it's not going to get better. You see, as a big police, it's not going to bring any plan. Listen to her speak in public. The lady can speak properly. She words. Don't know big words. And what she's going to do in the next few years until her retirement is write it like a child is doing. And the president, the prime minister.
Caller, could you hold on? I have another person on the line, so hold on.
Judge.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end now because too many people.
Tonight is one of those traffic issues night. All right. Thanks very much. Of course, we welcome your contribution. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Pleasant good night, Mr. Smith, and all the listeners, the haters, everybody. Good night. I just want to wish happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day to all the wonderful ladies on the line.
Yes.
And also the fathers who play the role as mother and father. We have to give them the pip as well.
Yes.
Congratulations,
certainly.
Right? I want to wish my mom happy birthday today. My sister was yesterday, and I had my 2 boys who was recently as well. I want to wish them happy belated.
Okay.
And I wanna tell you, you're doing a good job. For all these people to be hating on you, so you have to be doing something very, very good, right?
Yeah,
and you see this type of people, so
obsessed
you
with
see
me,
this type of people, so
yeah.
you realize they're not for country, they're not for nothing good. Because in a place like in this community, you have very nice people, must say. You know how the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
But everybody have the good. They wouldn't see something happening to a child and just turn a blind eye. You know? They
Yeah.
something
I
or
hear
do
you.
something.
I hear you.
Right?
But my response to those kind of people is very easy. Eat your heart out. Because there are some people who are simply haters. The place was fallow. It was abandoned. It was in a state of quagmire. And now that something positive is about to happen or is happening, and you have a difficulty with that, well, something wrong with you. It means, therefore, you must be living by yourself on some island. But go ahead. Just hold on, caller. Just want to conclude this call on the system. Yes.
No problem. No problem, Mr. Smith. Good night.
Good night. Boy. All right, go ahead, caller, on the handline. I'm getting a bit confused. So much calls coming in at the same time. But go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
No problem. This is your friend from away.
Oh, yes. How are you?
Yes, a nurse. I'm good. Just checking up. You just keep the faith, stand strong, and everything gonna be okay. We gotta get rid of them, and we're going to get rid of them.
Oh yes,
okay?
oh yes. I just came from
the government. They're horrible.
Yeah, anti-crime meeting. Fresh out of it at Kamala Prasad Misesa. I presented them with a 1,000-page document, but on flash drive because there's too much paper and too much ink to be consumed there. So I think they say they're going to look at it and we're gonna work out something. Because if I'm doing it here in East Port of Spain, I can't see why it cannot happen on a national scale. So we adjust the program. People like you can come home in peace.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, well, I already say when I come home, I love dogs, you know. You see, if a lot of people have dogs,
good. Well,
when
you're well protected,
things taking place.
Yeah, you're well protected. Yes.
When I come down is dogs. I love my dogs. I must have dogs in my yard. Have dogs.
Great.
You see, if a lot of people have dogs, dogs is very good animals. Well trained.
Yes.
Protect your compound. Yes. When you're sleeping, yes, your dog is in the ears and eyes.
That's one way to deter those elements that would want to infringe your privacy and home invade.
Yes. Since when I grew up as a young girl, originally I'm from St. Anne's.
Okay.
But when we grew up, we always have dogs. Our stepmom we always have 4 or 5 dogs in our yard. Always.
Nice. Great. That's lovely, man.
I love the dogs.
That's a tradition with all you.
Yes, dogs is a way of Yes, deterrent is a good deterrent. Right. A lot of people have dogs that might have been alive today. Yes.
Well,
and I heard something, it made me very sad.
Go ahead.
I'm very sad. I heard some lady got a home invasion and they sexually assault this lady. That's so sad. You see, this thing is going beyond now. It's
that seems to be a regular occurrence. Some do complain. Some just because they're so embarrassed that they don't complain. But that is a regular occurrence associated with home invasion in Trinidad and Tobago.
That's a very sad thing, you know. It's not nice,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So God, listen, the Most High, I pray every day for you all, for God cover each and every one, you, Andy, everybody.
Okay.
You know, and this thing, it will work out. How I see it will happen, listen, the people don't feel despondent no time. The people listening, you know, the people are waiting, you know.
The people's eyes are open wide.
Speak, and the youth they say, I listened to this gang today, and one of the youths, you know what he said? He said they have no work, so they go to music, and that's how they feed their family. And some of them say they don't want to speak because they don't want the police to come to kill them.
Right.
They don't want to speak out against the government. They say the government only come around when it's 5 years. The government only coming around when it's election time, and when 5 years time finish, then they come again. They say they're not stupid this time, that they're not in that nonsense with them.
Beautiful.
Because after the election, you don't see nobody shows up.
Yeah.
Nobody shows up. It was so nice to hear them speak up, you know.
It's a pattern of behavior that is despicable, and unacceptable. This is a 24/7 work, and if you know you only want the perks but you don't want the work, then you have to go somewhere else, otherwise you're a thief. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
You're a fraudster.
So what I was suggesting, I wish I was home. I wish I was home to help out too. But what I'm saying, you all need to focus on the areas where those youths feel so helpless and hopeless.
Yeah, well, that's where Kamala was today. In Mova, Never Dirty, Monsieur, who were you again?
Yes.
Monripo,
yes.
You know, and even Chinapu is close proximity.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so they have started to invade the East-West corridor. This is good. Yeah.
Very good, man. Very good. You know, so I don't want to keep you too long again. I just called to say hi, good night, and God bless. And
same to you. I look forward to your support. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
yeah. From next month, God willing, you will send me the info, and I will do whatever.
I asked Anne-Marie to do the needful, so she will communicate with you. All right.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
And you could give her my number is there. She could call me to any time, okay? Have a blessed night.
I'm going to certainly do that.
God bless you. Have a wonderful night.
Same to you. Same to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. I was making a point when I made my presentation at that symposium, that crime talk, that anti-crime talk this evening, presented by and sponsored and under the auspices of the UNC and the political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bisasa. And I was, of course, I made a point in my introduction that there is a concept, that is an ideology called, of course, social and psychological capital. And then I explained what it means to those who may not be aware. And that is, of course, the price that a society pays to keep the peace. Let me repeat. The price that the society pays to keep the peace is considered to be social and psychological capital. Of course, I didn't have time to go into details, but certainly I can do it here, where, of course, price here doesn't necessarily mean, but it includes, of course, money, because you have to pay good people to develop projects and programs, move into the community in order to treat with the issues there to prevent young people. And in my presentation, I also referred to the Prime Minister, and to show how disconnected he is. The Prime Minister is so disconnected, it is almost, I wouldn't even say laughable. It is almost inconceivable that a Prime Minister could be so disconnected. And I made the point the opportunity I got, I spoke second on the list there, and I said that here it is, and I must say it before I depart. I told him the Prime Minister has a charity. Let's go to the line. Let's go to the line. I will conclude later. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night again, Lennox.
Yes, good night to you.
I just have two words to say here.
Yes.
Lennox, you know this issue with the sitting judge and these people in this radio station attacking him, man. You know they're going back today again and attacking him, man. They're going back to the only man case, you know.
Right.
I find that should have on them, you know.
Nah, don't find that will do that involuntarily. In other words, they will have no choice. They will do it because that cannot withstand international scrutiny and condemnation eventually. So don't fight about that. Don't be too perturbed. Tap number, or should I say days are numbered. Let me put it that way. All right? Yeah,
well,
okay.
let me just leave here. The five defectors, the five dissidents,
yes,
the failure five, right? You know, they get the wishes, they have an election.
Right.
You know, when they was asking them if them going up for election, them had to do and think about it. They can't give an answer. They had to think about what they were going to do.
But forget that about gosh. You know, there are some things that I have patience for. There's something that is totally intolerant because you must know that there's a bunch of mooks. Sorry to say that. There are people that I once respected, but I think just as the Rowley cabinet, they have in practice have proven to be people with devoid of common sense. And we going to do about that? They're too old to turn them around now, so you leave them in their wallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sad thing about this is that Anita Haynes, a lady that
yeah, very good potential. She sounds good, but just as Rowley that sound good too. Hines that sound good, but at the end of the day, they are hollow. So don't be too perturbed. You win some, you lose some. But thank God, good always prevail over evil. So that is the joy and the benefit of that whole exercise.
That's what I'm trying to say is Anita Haynes gets herself caught up in this foolishness and she had a positive future.
And I agree with you. I agree with you, but she chose that. So I don't know how she can extricate herself from that.
She take chain up from these old men and now she future finished. Have a good night.
Yes. And I agree with you. That is the conclusion. Some people say, of course, how you make your bed is so you lie, I suppose. Pleasant good night, welcome. Pleasant good night, welcome. Pleasant good night, welcome.
Pleasant good night, Lennox.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, pleasant good night, Lennox. It's me again. I'm going to make it quick.
Yes.
Because I know the phone ringing again.
Yes, somebody is on the line already. Yeah, but tonight is one of those speed nights.
Fire.
Speed, on fire, speed. Yes.
I'll tell you why it's speed. Because the guys who broke into the Prime Minister, there was two police uniforms that were, had digital square. So what is a digital square? What can you do? I want to question if you could explain that to us. But I want to say something to the people up there. Yes, the criminal element controls this country. It starts to the magistrate, to the public defender's office, to judges, to the high parliament. And I'll tell you, there are judges who are very, very quiet. There are judges who pose naked and send their pictures out there to some lady. And he was elevated to another position. There's a judge who complained about Ivor Archie, and she castigated for retaliation. He sent her to Tobago, and she said, I don't want to go to Tobago because I don't have access to files and information. And he didn't care. We live in a country where cameras go up. Let me ask you something. How long cameras were up in all these cities? I driving all over and I seen cameras. But yet you have light poles, like in the corner where I live in Madras Road, that has been out for months, and you're begging them to fix this light pole, and they refuse.
Yes.
This government this government has fostered and bred a gang culture.
Yeah.
And I say that because I say that, and I say that with conviction, because you just have to look at the police of arrest. It's very, very low, and it only goes up when election comes around. Our government work hand in hand to keep us at bay. That's why you have to get all these petitions, and you have to get all these and the country still is a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, we are in the dark ages, no doubt. We are in the dark ages. And we have to have a shining light and an angel to direct us out of it. Yeah.
But I think there's no arrest because the police, the police working with the gangs. Yeah. Police don't even watch out for those lights. They don't give a shit. But they don't care. All right, Lennox, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you as well for your call. And see, one or two callers are calling profusely, and they probably are getting frustrated. Don't get frustrated, people. Of course, there is a saying: try and try, you will succeed at last. Do you stand at the ground, or you're standing at the lowest rung of the ladder, watching at the sky? How can you get up there if you never try? Well, once you try and try, you will succeed at last. So that is the essence. Most bright people don't succeed at the first on the first stint, but of course others do. It doesn't mean that they are brighter than you, but there may have been some incident that might have caused you not to excel on the first opportunity. But as soon as you get there, well, of course, you make use of it, of course. And there is a saying as well that luck is when, of course, opportunity meets preparation. Let me repeat that for those students and young people and so on. They say luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So in other words, that definition is not really luck. It is about the fact that you are prepared for something, and when the opportunity presents itself, you are able to make use of it simply because you are prepared. That's how it is. But of course, they define it as luck. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yeah. I was trying to get on earlier, but I think you had the...
Yeah, I saw that. Yes, somebody, every minute is calls after calls, so you had to be quick on the button. Yes.
Yeah. But what I called to tell you is that I have a book by Orlando Patterson.
Uh-huh.
The name of it is Slavery and Social Death.
Slavery and Social Death?
Yeah.
Okay, right, go ahead, yes, sir.
And apparently what is happening is that Rowley and is trying to squeeze this country into social death because everything they touch, right?
Yeah, it seems to be collapsing, yeah.
Yeah, the whole country collapsing around them, and people taking this thing for
yeah, it reminds me of Nero in Rome. The whole place burning down, and he blissfully eating and sleeping and having fun.
You know, but it's I don't know. If I'll buy you sometime, I could bring it up. And
I'd love to get a look at it. What's the name of the author? What's the name of the author?
Orlando Patterson.
Orlando Patterson.
Slavery and Social Death.
Oh,
he's from Jamaica.
Orlando. He's from Jamaica, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, and Slavery and Social Death. I'll remember that. I may try to look it up tonight and see if I get it to have a look at it. Because of course all of these pieces of information are so important to share ultimately, because if we are formers or shapers of opinion, then we have to ourselves be well informed in order, of course, to share the information so that all become wiser and we level the playing field in this so-called democracy that this fella called Rowley is attempting to destroy, so as to bring it to autocracy and the total dictatorship. Of course, that's on a pink donkey he will not see.
True, but what I want to say is that most people don't understand the extent to which slavery has has destroyed a lot of things.
Yeah, impacted on the psyche of the people and down the generations.
Right. So,
yeah,
and it's pretty well researched, you know. So it's kind of tough to read, but it's almost about 500 pages. So you know.
All right, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. If it's a good one that would, you know, extract some crucial information, add it to the body of information we already have. I see nothing. I see nothing wrong in making the sacrifice to read a 500-page literature. Once, of course, it has the value for money, so to speak.
But it is a study. It is a study. You can't just read it.
It's a study. I see. Yeah, it's not a novel type presentation. I see. Okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow? You coming down tomorrow?
I expect to. It may not be because I had to do it, but the people came down today from Point, and so it may or may not be because I have somebody again to meet in La Brea, so I'll be coming down. I should be on that side. What you want to do? You will meet me?
Yeah, I can meet you somewhere.
Okay,
I don't know yet, but I'll call you in the morning.
Yeah. And did you communicate elsewhere?
Yeah. Okay. I did that.
Okay, right, good. I appreciate that because it's crucial now because we have the army coming in on Wednesday, and I want to show them the project that we want to do now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yes, people. Of course. Time is fast being spent. It's already, of course, 10 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. But, of course, I was making the point earlier that, of course, the whole question of social and psychological capital, the investment that a community makes, in this case, Trinidad and Tobago, a country makes, in order to generate the peace. And, of course, there was another point that is an addendum to that I thought I should, of course, share with you as well. And that is that there is a necessity for us to understand our role and responsibilities. And that when you believe a task is difficult, with studious devotion, attention, and studies, you can make it. So that's why, of course, I drew from the poem, standing at the foot, gazing at the sky. How can you get up there if you never try? Try and try and try, and you'll succeed at last. I say so for those C students and those CXC students, and those who may not yet be exposed to those exams, but sometime in the future, that these little, what I consider to be cliches, or these little maxim, maxims, is usually well placed, and if well absorbed, you will understand. Nothing different to when mommy say, don't put your hand where it can't reach. Do not interfere with people's things that are not yours. Do not take up that which is not yours. In other words, that is theft. Those kinds of value-oriented inculcation. And of course, in pedagogy, meaning that in teaching, it is called the affective quality of the human being. Those things you cannot see and feel, but you appreciate it in your mind and you act it out. Act it out so that your character and personality is built around those factors. And then, of course, you become a beautiful human being. Of course, we all have our idiosyncrasies, our nuances, but that doesn't take away from the general, what I consider to be the quality of the human being, the gregarious nature of the human being, they live in groups and therefore must have rules and understanding in order to function, because on many occasions you may infringe on what another person believes is their own space. And so you have to be able to negotiate, and you have to be able, of course, to reconcile, and you have to be able, of course, to say when it is necessary, call a spade a spade. And so growth can take place, relationship can solidify, and the whole community benefits. When you have a situation, I'll say all that to say, when you have a situation where a small group of persons, the cabinet of this country, believe that they can, of course, recuse themselves hundreds of times because their friends and family at the level of the cabinet applied for a contract or several other benefits, including, of course, real estate, and you believe that you have the right to do so at the expense of the very poor and vulnerable, you are doing an injustice not only to yourself, not only to the task that you have pledged to undertake, that is to say, to do right to all men and to distribute the resources of the country equitably. When you fail to do so, you have failed at the country and you have failed the test. And so your exit must be expeditiously arranged, and actually, you should be jettisoned from the position that you would have held. And this cabinet, in totality, must find themselves in that vein. And I want to say to them that yes, blue lights and silver bracelets await you all. Or you could jump high, you could concoct, somebody went in some water tank, Robbie could say somebody break into your office. I suppose he tried Eric Williams there. Remember, Eric Williams said that Robinson break open, he find him in the office. That is his story. He find him in his office when he left when they thought he left the country, and came back from the airport and saw him there. That's a myth that is bandied about all over the place in PNM circles. Somebody is a PNM propaganda. Should I say legacy? Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Welcome.
Hi, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you.
Yes, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Hey.
I see Mr. Imbert seems to want to create a kangaroo court because who tell he can investigate the Auditor General? Sometimes be wrong with these people, you know. But listen now, I want to tell Mr. Imbert, come next year, election time,
yes.
You see this little finger of mine, the index finger? I want to tell them all. I'm going with that.
I hear you. And I want to also add that, of course, according to the Greeks, who the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad. Them gone totally insane, mentally deranged, and as the Latin expression will give, non compos mentis. They are of unsound mind. Non compos mentis. They are of unsound mind. All of them, individually and collectively. And of course, there's nothing Rowley could do or he could say to hoodwink and deceive those who are just now. By the middle of this year, you will see them leaving the PNM like flies and leaving Rowley, of course, to his own device. And he's going to cuss and rant and rave. Don't be surprised if he starts to use obscene language in public. So far, he has been able to resist that. But of course, he uses alternatives. Yeah, but he's going to use the raw material when he realizes that he, like the cheese, would be left alone in his despicable misery, orchestrated, created, manipulated, and engineered by him. For what? For what? Yes, for that reason. Oh, what would it profit a man or woman to gain the world and lose a soul? But that is what has happened to Rowley. Greedy. Want more than you could chew, more than you deserve, more than you could work for. And now retribution has come. And the people are going to exact their revenge. Exact their revenge in more ways than one. People, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's exercise. I want to say, don't forget tomorrow morning, Andy, Mikey, and myself. We will, of course, continue with the ground report. And tomorrow night, of course, we will highlight some other things. I want to say I'm very enthused, very elated. There are those who, of course, don't like what we are doing because we are doing good. Jesus Christ was crucified after all. And we don't want to put ourselves in that situation where we have to be crucified in the way to absorb all that pain and ache and agony and distress. But certainly, what we are doing here on a nightly basis have some of the disciples of the devil uneasy. After all, he too has his followers, but they will follow him to damnation and total and absolute hell. Let's take this final call, and then, of course, we will close off. Pastor, good night.
Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Pleasant good night again.
Yes.
Mr. Lennox, since this government coming to office.
Yes.
Everything they come in to tell you is they don't have no money. They don't even have toilet papers in the ministries, in the toilet for you to use when you're home away from home, which is the workplace.
Caller on the other line, hold on, please. I have another caller on the answer.
Every time they have a meeting, Mr. Lennox,
yes,
it's something they're looking to cut. So they ain't cutting the salary. We don't know up to now where we 3-point-something billion gone.
Yes.
Where it's spent. And I want to make it clear to the people and them, if they watch how this administration operating, people telling you that they're looking like they have a plan to try to steal the election. No, this government has no plan to steal the election. You know. This government mash up the treasury. So right now they want to go. They want the right people to come in to fix it. To come back with propaganda again when things fix. But this government want to leave office because it don't have no more money for them to thief.
Yeah, but I tell you
I want to make it clear they have no more money to thief in the treasury.
You put them in a vice grip there, you know, caller. You put them in a vice grip there. Because why they would like to get into office so that someone else that they could in opposition blame for what they have done, like what they did in 1986.
That's correct, Mr. Lennox.
Yeah, like what they did to Robinson.
That's the plan right now.
When they did Robinson. But the problem with this fella, this group, is that they also want to protect themselves from blue lights and silver bracelets. So they are in a quagmire. They want to leave, but can't leave. Yeah. You understand? So they are confused. Yes.
Yeah, they want to leave, but they can't leave because it has so much thing there that we can put them
That's right, exactly. They don't want to spend the rest of their lives in jail. All of them I'm talking about. Yeah,
well said.
Yeah. So that's the problem with these fellas. Yeah.
I want the people to know that if only find them moving like they're campaigning, they have nothing to campaign on, and they know right now the treasury looking shaky because them damage it. So they want to go. And when they go stand up at the outside and they now say, looking in and say, look what they now do, look how they now come in, look at the place.
yeah, that's what they do. You see that unfolding in my group because I'm in Tobago. That's what happening in Tobago right now. Right? So we know what they will do. All right, let me take that final call because we're going past 10. All right?
Before you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just like what Eric Williams did to Chambers. Because when Chambers come in there, the treasury was empty.
That's right. Yes, just about a month.
All right, Mr. Lennox.
Yes. Thank you very much, of course. Let's go quickly to this caller. Caller, thank you very much for holding on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Pleasant night, Mr. Lennox, and all those on the chat.
Yes.
So what the guy said there. right? It's like when you and a woman break up and she say, "Well, we done," and you say, "We done, all right." I go in. Every 5 minutes, you're stopping and looking back for she to call you.
Yeah,
but say what? The reason why I want to make a contribution is that 56 million to refurbish the zoo.
Yes.
I think we should give back Africa the animals because we have all that animalistic characteristics in one individual. What do you think?
I agree. That's a whole zoo. That's a whole zoo you're talking about there. But of course, the monies, no, is a slush fund. That is another mechanism for getting campaign and to finish Balize House. I see that they have translucent glass on the outside, at least on the western and the northern sides. So far, they're putting up glass. So it's a glass building that they are putting up. But of course, it appears that they have some cash flow or cash stress problem, so that they put up a piece today, they put up a piece next week, and so on. But I am responsible for monitoring what is happening at Balize House, so I can tell you ball by ball. And when I tell you when the ground report give assignment, you better do it with appropriacy. Otherwise, of course, they can, of course, cry foul and say that, of course, we have infringed their fundamental right, particularly where their reputation is concerned, you know. And and I will never, of course, expose myself to that, nor you. And what you get from here, of course, the veracity of which could be easily verified and withstand any test, court or no court. That being as it may, people, of course, have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless, I already said. We'll see tomorrow morning on the corridor transformation. And as we started, of course, let's make sure that those young men and women in the ghetto are taken care of.
There's one thing that she don't need. It's another hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
As the snow flies on a cold and gray Chicago morn, poor little baby child is born in the ghetto. And his mama cries, 'cause if there's one thing that she don't need, is another little hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto. People, don't you understand? Child needs a helping hand, or he'll grow to be an angry young man someday. Take a look at you and me. Are we too blind to see? Or do we simply turn our heads and look the other way? Well, the world turns, and a hungry little boy with a runny nose.
There was a little black boy was he. The boy went to school and he come out unseen. Never learned how to read, he never learned about math. Never learned how to write, he never studied about that. All he studied was his speakers, his sneakers and clothes. He learned how to dress and he learned how to pose. He can't get no work, he can't get no job. He decide to steal and he decide to rob. But little black boy couldn't last long at all. The police put a bullet through his dunce head skull. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and off poverty. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black promises is what they hear. No running water from year to year. Hearts that no one desire, that if there is a Messiah, someday he'd hear their whispered prayer. Covered always bare and scanty, 10 people in a one-bedroom shanty. Forced to sell on the pavement, no vacancy, no employment. Cattle fire cracker from gunshot, blood dust flow when things get hot. Afraid to look out the window, to hear voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 Lord, Lord, crying, crying, voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 Lord, Lord, crying, voices from the ghetto. Help us, Father, Lord. Mothers just holding head and ball, and them woman stronger than a wall. A big pusher eyeing she daughter, son in jail for manslaughter. Too bad for he and them black boys, no bail. That's the black man's choice. Like Shadow say, poverty is hell. She little girl child belly start to swell. Some say life is a cycle, but don't draw she no circle. Where will it all end? Only time could tell. Outside the siren keep howling, inside your belly will growling. Police raid very often, Simpson measuring a coffin. One night in bed you're sleeping, next night is a wake that you're keeping. So you're praying to win the lotto, not to hear voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 voices from the ghetto. Crying, Lord, crying, hear them pleading. Crying, voices from the ghetto. A hand to us, Lord. We are not a forgotten people. Hear our prayer. With dented pride they soldier on. Revolutions based politicians born. And often their tragic story brings a journalist glory. No wonder they view the world with scorn. From since the day they born, some call them rebels without a cause. These social victims of unjust